Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Wake Up Bright, where I share all the things that help me live each day a little brighter. I am April Lauren and I am on a journey to lose 200 pounds. This is a weigh-in Wednesday and I'm just gonna keep it chill. We're gonna sit and chat. And then I am also going to be sharing some footage that I shot throughout the month as I participated in the 22 miles with 22 pounds challenge. And we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the weigh-in portion of this video. So this week was the week of my birthday, and my husband also surprisingly left, and we're not sure when he's coming back. Just a fun time. Anyhow, all of that being said, I'm very happy with my weigh-in this week, with my ability to stay consistent, even though my schedule was very shaken up. I do not do well when my routines shift, which is ridiculous because the life I live, the routine is the shaking up. Like our lives are constantly shaken. And so, yeah, it's a thing. So this week I weighed in at 258.6 pounds, which is a loss of just under a pound, and I accept you. So this month I did the 22 miles with carrying 22 pounds. So you can carry it, you can wear it. It's you taking 22 pounds over the course of 22 miles. There wasn't a lot of rules about how to do it or how to account for it. There's really none except for you just do it. And that is what I did. I just did it. I took my 22 pound vest, which it wasn't a 22 pound vest, it was a vest with 22 pounds on it. And I took that for 22 miles. And the post stipulated that you could run it, you could swim it, you could walk it, you could hike it, whatever you need to do. You could bike it in order to get the 22 miles with the 22 pounds. You could do it all at one time or you could break it up. And I broke it up. So the very first time that I did it, I only did 1 mile just to see how my body would be affected. And that 1 mile with the 22 pounds was pretty miserable. I was definitely like kind of thinking, what did I do? This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But I very quickly, so like that first day I did 1 mile and the next day I did 2 miles. And then the third day I jumped it up to 4 miles. And the weather was just really cool that day. It was like the first day that it wasn't like stifling hot. And it was just like out of nowhere. And so the pups and I took like a early morning walk during daylight hours to the park, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful little walk, and I really enjoyed that I could compare it to where I was last year. Carrying that 22 pounds feels so different and is so much more of a strain. So anyone who thinks that just losing like 20 pounds or 10 pounds doesn't matter, like it's not a big deal, it is. Like it changes everything that you do. And I'm so excited to see and experience life as I continue to lose weight. And I just feel more and more capable of just being strong and like going through whatever I need to go through as the more weight that I lose. I love that feeling of being capable and not being scared. I lived so much of my more recent life scared. Like I used to be stupid fearless, never scared of anything. But when I was injured and then had to have those surgeries on my leg and stuff, like from that point forward, I was a scaredy cat. Like I was very scared of like everything, and with good reason, because twisting my ankle could result in like being immobile. And that was a really hard pill to swallow. It was really scary when I thought I wasn't gonna be able to walk normal. And even though my gait is still not 100%, it's pretty close. And running really helped, has really helped with balancing my left to right side and like muscle strength. And I think that's pretty amazing. But I did not run with 22 pounds. I did not even try to run carrying extra weight. But we did walk it, and I really enjoyed that progression. That last time that I carried the 22 pounds, it didn't feel like anything. And as I was going through, I'm like, people's backpacks probably weigh more than this. So it's not a big deal. It was very different than when I first started, and I was kind of scared to do it. We are halfway and it sucks.
23 minutes, 51 seconds.
It was easier than I thought it was going to be and harder at the same time. Like, I know I could go a lot farther, but I don't know. I'll talk to you about it later. I'm going to be late. So...
This past weekend was something called General Conference at my church, and I listened as I was driving up to DC, and then when I returned home, so I listened on the way back. And one speaker gave this talk, and it centered around a story she shared. The story was about a young guy who was so proud of his pup. He had a dog. He trained his dog to listen. His dog was so obedient and knew all of the rules, like all of the tricks, was so good. He really wanted to show off his pup to his friends. And so he took his pup hiking with them. And I may be getting the story a little wrong, and that's okay if I am, because the meat of it is still there. So he took his pup to meet with his friends, and they spent the day outside. And as the day progressed, his dog got worse and worse and worse. He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't do any of his tricks. He was acting very erratic and a little aggressive. And finally, the young guy had enough, and he very angrily loaded his pup up. And he was just like, why? Why are you acting like this? Like, you know better. And he took his dog home. When he got home, he checked his dog for ticks and just kind of did like a general rub down that you do when you're outside with your pup. And he noticed that there was something wet on his dog's chest. And when he further examined, he saw that his dog had cut himself and was bleeding. And it was a pretty deep cut. And as he continued to examine his dog, he noticed another place where his pup was badly wounded. And it broke his heart, not just that his pup was hurt, but how angry he was and how quick he was to judge and to blame and just to feel so angry, knowing that if his pup was feeling okay, that he would act like he's been trained to. He would do his very best at everything in order to please the ones that he loves. He would do everything. And so this young guy was just brokenhearted. The premise of the story was that sometimes when we're hurt, when we're in pain, we don't do things that we expect of ourselves, or our loved ones don't do things that maybe we expect of them. And being curious first and slow to judgment, slow to anger is so important. And something that I thought about while carrying the 22 pounds with me is that the longer I carried that burden of 22 pounds, the easier it got to carry the weight. However, that doesn't change the fact that there were still effects of carrying that weight. And that weight just got to be status quo. It got easier, but it was still there. And so often I think we have burdens, things that cause us deep pain. And the longer we carry it, the more we get used to it. And it's just business as usual. And within the framework of the 22-mile challenge and the veterans, our veterans and other people who struggle with thoughts of suicide or taking their own lives. The things that we carry, so often people hide them and bury them down, and it festers. I want to share a quote from Jeffrey R. Holland, and this is of a religious nature. So if you're not religious, I'm not pressing religion upon you. To any of you out there who are struggling, whatever your concerns or difficulties, death by suicide is manifestly not the answer. It will not relieve the pain you are feeling or that you think you are causing. In a world that so desperately needs all the light it can get, please do not minimize the eternal light God put in your soul before this world was. Talk to someone. Ask for help. Do not destroy the life that Christ gave his life to preserve. You can bear the struggles of this mortal life because we will help you bear them. You are stronger than you think. Help is available from others and especially from God. You are loved and valued and needed. We need you. Fear not. Believe only. If you or someone you love is struggling, there is help out there. Taking a little bit of time to read what the signs are can go a long way. Just to research and different things. I learned so much. I learned that suicide is the 4th leading cause of death for people ages 34 to 54. And for every death achieved by someone taking their own life, there are more than 25 attempts. More than 47,500 Americans die each year by suicide. Suicide can be prevented, and learning the warning signs and reaching out to help those with suicidal thoughts and feelings, being kind to those we come into contact with, and empathizing that everyone has their own struggles, their own challenges, and taking time to truly care about our neighbors and the people in our communities is so important.
All right, we just got back. I don't understand why you're so close. I can't make you further away. I usually use a selfie stick. My arms are quite short. Anyway, I enjoyed the walk. My shoulders, like my traps, hurt. And I went to the bathroom. When I went to the bathroom at the park, I paused my watch, and it wasn't until I was from the bathroom all the way to the red light that I crossed, which is it's about a mile, maybe a little less, but I think it's a little more from where we were. And I didn't track any of that. So it's a fun time. I mean, I tracked it, I guess, in my steps because I think my phone tracks steps. Maybe my watch does too, but yeah, so whatever. It's fine. 4 miles is what we'll count because that is what my watch said that we did. Even though I know we did like 5, but 4. Count 4. As I stand here, my feet are a little tingly from that extra weight, and it just amazes me that not too long ago, that weight was on my body. That's crazy, and I felt so good. Like, ended up getting the Hokas because after long walks like that, my knees would hurt. No wonder my knees hurt. I was so heavy. Anyway, I finished up a book. I finished up this book, Running Dangerously. I loved it. It was really good. So if you're into like running books, it's a good book. And then I started Stephen King's fairy tales. Not a huge Stephen King reader or anything, but I started listening to his Audible books when we moved to El Paso, and I still worked in Utah. And so there's a few times I drove, and then also I visited family. So I drove back and forth. And then one time I drove from El Paso to where my family is in like the Mobile area. And anyway,
where we live in Fayetteville to not have a lot of damage. There are some places that got some damage from Tropical Storm Ian. Nothing like the places that were hit when it was still a hurricane. And There were a couple days that I had planned on walking a couple miles a day, and then I ended up just needing to do it all together. And so late this evening, me and the pups ventured out, and you can kind of see all the debris everywhere. But we got that 22 miles in, and I am so grateful to have seen the challenge and to have accepted it, and to be able to have spent some time considering something that I never think of, yet I intend to make space to be better and to do better. I hope you know you're loved, and I am so grateful for you. You are struggling. I encourage you to reach out for help. You are worth it. You are worth the help.
Man, it feels good to be home. I am all done. Those 22 miles with the 22 pounds. I'm ready to take this off. It is such a good workout though, so.
I am very grateful I participated in this challenge. I'm grateful for the knowledge that there are so many people who want to uplift those around them, that care deeply for people around them. And I know that because there are so many of you who care about each other in the comments, care about me, people who do not know you on a day-to-day personal level, caring about you. It's powerful, and it brings to light there is so much good in the world. And even in our dark moments, where our darkest moments, where everything's slightly hazy and we feel distant, being able to find a way to put words to the burdens that you carry is powerful. And therapy is so great for that. Seeking out help when you're in your darkest moments is so important. And know that you are loved and that you are worthy of living a life without having to carry those burdens on your own. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you for my month update. Love you so much. Bye.